Hey there, Ari from the Tech Buyers Guru, and I've got another PC buyer's guide for you here on the channel today. This is my $1,000 gaming PC build for summer 2020. Now, it's been about 4 months since I last posted a $1,000 build, and one thing that hasn't changed is the Ryzen 5 3600 being the best CPU that you can buy for under 200 bucks. Now, Intel has actually launched a new line of CPUs to counter AMD's resurgence, and there is a new Intel CPU, but I don't recommend it. It's called the Core i5 10400. The reason I don't recommend it is because all the motherboards that Intel released are very high priced. So there's no reason to buy a mid-priced CPU and then have to use a high-priced motherboard. It just doesn't make sense. So Ryzen 5 3600 offers the same performance. It actually comes with a better cooler in the box, the Wraith Stealth, which is an excellent cooler. You don't need to upgrade it. And like I said, you can match it with really low-cost motherboards. Now, I really like MSI, and I have an X570 board here, but you can actually use their lower-cost B450 or X470 motherboards between $100 and $120. Those are all really great boards. And the only challenge you'll find is perhaps you'll find them back-ordered at this point, but they are a really great price, and MSI has a great feature set at that price point. Now, one thing to keep in mind is AMD is actually launching an updated chipset, the B550, on June 16th, 2020. I'm actually filming this before then, so I don't know what the prices are going to be exactly. But if you see a B550 board from MSI and it seems to be kind of similar price between 100 and 120, feel free to pick it up. The one advantage you'll get is a PCIe Gen 4 slot and a PCIe Gen 4 M.2 slot for your graphics card and your SSDs. I don't think that's a big deal at this price point because you're not going to be getting really expensive solid state drives, but it's nice to know that it's there for the future. So again, B550 coming really actually before the summer starts in 2020. Now, in terms of the memory, Patriot is knocking it out of the park with his Viper Steel line. This was launched about 6 months ago, and not only does it offer really great performance, but the price is really, really competitive. Typically around 70 to 75 bucks for a 16 gig kit of DDR4 3200. That's fantastic. You really can't beat that. It's a really great RAM, so I highly recommend it. Viper Steel from Patriot. Now, in terms of the case, I've got a new case here. This is a great case from Silverstone, and it's coming in between $60 and $70. This is their Fara R1. They also have a Fara B1, and they really only differ in the front panel, so kind of a different treatment. This has a full mesh panel, which I really like for airflow. Either way, these are great cases between 60 and 70 bucks, and one of the things I really like about them is they have a very modern layout. They're very compact from front to back, as you can see. So it's a really nice compact chassis, nice compact footprint for your desk or your floor. But you can fit a lot of great gear in it. It has space for big video cards, big CPU coolers, and actually high-end fans as well. So that's something that Silverstone has really pushed in their new line of compact low-cost cases. You can use 140 millimeter fans in front, like my favorite here, the Arctic F14 PWM. It can fit in front. You can actually put two in front, and I do recommend at least one because this case only comes with an exhaust fan right here. That's a 120 millimeter exhaust fan, but I do want to recommend a 140 millimeter intake fan. And 140 millimeter fans offer more airflow at lower noise levels than 120 millimeter fans. So there's really no disadvantage. They cost about the same. All you need is a case that can fit them. And Silverstone is giving you that case at a low price point. Because it's a new case and because of all sorts of supply constraints that are going on in the market right now, this particular model may be out of stock. They have black and white. They have both solid steel panel and glass panel. You might need to choose whichever is in stock at the time you're ready to buy, but Silverstone's really done a great job with this case. Now, in terms of the solid state drive, frankly, prices have gone up a little bit since they hit their low around December of 2019. I'm going right now with about a 512 gigabyte drive, 500 to 512, depending on the manufacturer. Always solid state drive, and of course, I actually like PCIe because they don't cost much more than a SATA drive, maybe $5 to $10 more, but they're a lot faster, up to 7 times faster actually in sequential operations. So at this point, there's no reason to buy a SATA drive unless it's a lot cheaper, and they're not right now. I don't know why that is, perhaps because the interface itself doesn't actually add a lot to the cost, so just go for it. You get a much faster drive. I recommend a number of different brands. The ones that I like the most at the $70 to $80 price point are Sabrent, and then the XPG line of SX 8200 drives. So I'll be posting probably both links down below in case one is out of stock. They're really equivalent, actually. Now, in terms of the power supply, this has been the biggest challenge for the past few months. Hopefully it's going to clear up during the summer. But because of the pandemic and the constraints on supply chains, power supplies have basically been out of stock. So I'm going to put a bunch of links down below. For this system, I really like to target between 500 and 600 watts. That's all you need. But frankly, most of the 500 and 600 watt models are out of stock. One of the ones I've seen lately is a Thermaltake GX2 at 600 watts. There are also some Silverstone models that are often in stock around that price. And you're typically getting either bronze or gold rated efficiency. Either one is fine. Of course, if you can get gold for the same price, that's great. And if bronze is sold out, well, that's not an option. And right now, actually, as I'm filming this, it's basically impossible to get like a 550 watt bronze power supply. So spend an extra $10 on a gold rated one and enjoy the extra efficiency and lower noise. Now, of course, what are you powering up besides your CPU? You're going to be powering up a GPU. That's the most important part of a gaming system. And there's two options I recommend for this system targeting the $1,000 price point. First, the Radeon RX 5600 XT from AMD. It's a great card. Comes in typically around $290 to $300, depending on the manufacturer. I like a number of manufacturers. One of the best is Sapphire because it's really an exclusive partner of AMD, so they always have really good coolers. Of course, they sell out pretty quickly. I also like Gigabyte because it offers a very big cooler for the price. So there's a few different options there. And then you can also go with an NVIDIA GeForce-based card from EVGA. EVGA has partnered with NVIDIA to come out with a lower price RTX 2060 6GB card, really to counter the RX 5600 XT directly. And although the price isn't quite as low, it's about $320 most of the time, it is a little bit faster. So you're spending a little bit more and getting a little bit more speed. And some people like GeForce cards just either because of the name or because they think the driver's a little bit more stable. Typically, they're a little bit more refined or they're updated a bit more quickly than the AMD drivers. So if you're an NVIDIA fanboy or you just want to get something that's a little bit faster, the RTX 2060 KO from EVGA is the special edition to buy. That's the one with the lower price point. Of course, it's almost always sold out, and most 2060s are a lot more expensive, so I don't recommend those. But if you can get a 2060 KO for around $320, that's a good buy, or the 5600 XT for under $300. Those are my two recommendations. So that pretty much wraps it up. You'll throw in a copy of Windows 10, of course, and you're all set. If you have any questions about this buyer's guide, please post them down below. I'll be sure to get back to you. As always, I appreciate a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you soon.